Ada had waited 7 long years to hear the cry of her own child. In Umuokoro village, where childbearing defined a woman's worth, each passing year without a baby added another brick to the wall of shame around her. Her husband, Emeka, once a doting man, had become distant, his mother whispering daily curses in Ada's ears, calling her a childless woman. The community began to murmur, suggesting Emeka take another wife. But he didn't. Not yet. Then, one Sunday morning, Ada fainted while sweeping the compound. A trip to the health center confirmed what she had silently hoped for years: she was pregnant. And not just pregnant, she was carrying triplets. Joy lit up her world like a lantern in the dark. Suddenly, neighbors brought her gifts. Even Mama Emeka's scowls softened into half-smiles. God had finally answered. But on the day of delivery, that joy turned to ash. The hospital room echoed with cries. Not of celebration, but of confusion. 3 baby girls, born healthy, fair-skinned, with blue eyes and golden curls. The nurses exchanged glances. One quietly stepped out to call Emeka. When Emeka arrived, the nurse hesitated before placing the babies in his arms. He stared, blinked, then shouted, "Where is their mother?" He stormed into the ward, veins popping in his neck. "Ada," he roared. "What is this? Whose children are these?" Ada, weak from childbirth, lifted her head and smiled. "Our daughters, Emeka, our miracle." "Miracle? You call this abomination miracle? You've been cheating on me with a white man?" Her smile faded. "What are you saying? These are our children. I swear." Before she could finish, Emeka slapped the tray of food beside her bed to the ground. The nurse rushed in, horrified. "Madam, I warned you," Emeka growled. "I said if you ever disgraced me, I would wash my hands off you. But I didn't. Emeka, I swear on my life. I've never." "Keep your swear. Keep it for the white man you were spreading your legs for." News traveled fast in Umuokoro. By evening, people gathered outside Emeka's compound, buzzing like flies. Some blamed Ada, others whispered of witchcraft or spiritual attack. Mama Emeka, arms akimbo, spat into the sand. "I knew it. I knew this girl was not clean. See how she has shamed us. Shameless woman." By the 3rd day, Emeka had made up his mind. "You will leave this house. I don't care where you go. Take your half-caste babies and disappear. You're dead to me." Ada begged. On her knees, holding her newborns close, she cried. "Even if you hate me, what did these innocent children do to you?" Emeka refused to listen. She was thrown out before her stitches healed, her few belongings tied in a wrapper, her babies crying in the sweltering heat. No one stood up for her. Not the church. Not the neighbors. Not even the nurse who helped deliver the babies. Ada walked away from her marriage, her dignity shattered, her heart in pieces, but with a quiet fire in her spirit. She would survive. Not for herself, but for the 3 little girls God had given her. The scorching sun beat down mercilessly as Ada trudged along the dusty village road, her wrapper barely holding together a bag of baby clothes, diapers, and a tattered Bible. One baby strapped to her back, 2 in her arms. No home. No money. No plan. Just raw desperation and motherly instinct. She knocked on her aunt's door in the neighboring village, Edu. Aunt Mma opened it, and the sight before her made her gasp. "God. Ada, what happened?" Tears replaced words as Ada collapsed on the veranda. Aunt Mma took her in without questions, but life was far from easy. Feeding one mouth was hard enough, now she had 4. Ada had no job skills. No qualifications beyond her secondary school certificate. She'd been a housewife since marriage at 22. But with her aunt aging and the triplets growing fast, Ada knew she had to act. She began pounding soup ingredients for women at the village market. Then cleaning classrooms at the local primary school after hours. Anything to earn a few naira. The children, Amara, Chisholm, and Adana, grew into bright, curious girls. But their skin made them constant targets. "Why are you white?" children at school would ask, poking their cheeks. "Why don't you look like your mummy?" Teachers whispered amongst themselves. The girls didn't understand. But Ada did. Every time someone stared too long or made a crude comment, the shame of that hospital day resurfaced like a scar that wouldn't heal. But Ada never wavered. She taught the girls to be proud. To pray. To sing. To read. She braided their hair with care and sewed their dresses from second-hand wrappers. And when they cried, missing a father they never knew, she held them close and said, "You have me. You have God. And one day, the world will know your story." But life had more blows to throw. Aunt Mma died suddenly after a short illness. Ada, left with funeral debt and no roof, was forced to sleep in a church for weeks. It was there she met Pastor John, a quiet, kind man who offered her a cleaning job in his wife's small catering business in Enugu. It meant leaving the village. It meant starting over. It meant hope. So Ada packed her things once again, strapped her girls in a borrowed bus seat, and headed to the city. She didn't know what awaited her in Enugu. But she knew one thing: failure was no longer an option. She had already been thrown out, humiliated, and mocked. Now, she would rise. For her daughters. For herself. For the name they tried to bury. The streets of Enugu buzzed with life, hawkers shouting, kiki horns blaring, gospel music spilling from dusty speakers. It was noisy, gritty, and overwhelming, but to Ada, it was a blank slate. She and the girls squeezed into a single-room boys' quarters behind a mechanic workshop in Abakpa. It stank of oil and smoke, but it was theirs. Rent was paid with the little she earned cleaning and peeling yam for Mama Esther Catering, a small business run by Pastor John's wife. Though life was hard, Ada began to breathe again. She enrolled the girls in a public school. She would wake at 4 a.m. daily, bathe and feed them, then hustle to cook with Mama Esther. By evening, she helped them with homework, often falling asleep mid-sentence. But Ada never complained. To her, hustle was healing. The triplets flourished. They were no longer the odd girls of the village. Enugu was bigger, busier, people had less time to stare. They joined the children's choir and quickly became loved for their angelic voices and unusual beauty. Their light skin and golden brown curls drew attention wherever they sang. One Sunday, a local church hosted a Talent for Christ event. The girls sang an original song Ada helped them write, about a mother's love and God's faithfulness. They won second place. A video of their performance was posted on Facebook and unexpectedly went viral. Thousands commented on the girls' striking looks and voices. Are they mixed race? Wow, angels in human form. This woman raised queens. Among the comments, one user stood out: "I know these girls. I think I know their father." Ada's heart skipped. Was fate about to open the past she had tried to forget? Before she could investigate, opportunity knocked. A woman named Mrs. Anom, who ran a child modeling agency in Lagos, reached out. "I saw the video. Your daughters are stunning. Would you be interested in letting them model for a commercial brand?" Ada was stunned. Modeling? Commercial? She had never imagined such a world for them. But Mrs. Anom was patient. She sent references, photos of past work, and even came down to Enugu to meet them in person. "I don't want to use them," she said firmly. "I want to showcase them. Their uniqueness. Their beauty. And your story. people will be inspired. Ada prayed, fasted, and eventually agreed, on the condition that she would always be present and the girls would remain in school. It was the beginning of something new. From struggling mother to rising star mom, Ada and her girls were slowly stepping into a light the world could no longer ignore. But as the spotlight grew, so did the shadows. One day, while preparing the girls for a magazine shoot in Lagos, someone tapped Ada on the shoulder. "Excuse me, madam, your face looks familiar." She turned, and her past stood right before her. Obinna. Her husband. The man who kicked her out. His mouth dropped open. His voice cracked. "Ada?" The room spun. 10 years had passed. And now, the reckoning had come. The silence between Ada and Obinna was deafening. They stood face to face in the makeup studio of a Lagos advertising agency, frozen in disbelief. The girls were getting their makeup done inside. Obinna, now visibly older, had a slight pot belly and wore a gold-plated wristwatch that screamed new money. But the moment he saw Ada, all his pride seemed to drain from him. "Ada, is it really you?" he whispered again, his voice hoarse. Ada's heart thudded in her chest. Memories came flooding back, the shame, the rejection, the cold Harmattan morning she was thrown out, her babies in her arms, the village watching like it was a Nollywood film. She clenched her fists, fighting back tears. "Yes, Obinna. It's me. The shame you threw away." He took a shaky step forward. "The girls, they're mine?" Ada scoffed. "Now you ask? After 10 years? Obinna rubbed his face, his expression a mix of shock and regret. "I didn't know. I thought. I believed what they told me. The white skin, the hair, even my mother, your mother." Ada snapped. "You let your mother decide for you. You never even gave me a chance to explain." He looked away, ashamed. Just then, the studio door opened. The triplets walked out, radiant in their costumes. Their laughter froze when they saw their mother's stern face, and the man standing beside her. Obinna stared at the girls, his eyes widening. His jaw trembled. "Chisholm. Chidinma. Chioma." He called their names, tears pooling in his eyes. He remembered the names. Ada never changed them. The girls glanced at each other, confused. "Who's this, Mummy?" Chidinma asked, taking Ada's hand. Ada looked down at her daughter, then up at the man who broke her. "This is your father." The words hung in the air like thunderclouds. The girls looked stunned. Obinna tried to kneel, but Ada stopped him with a sharp look. "Not here. Not like this." That evening, Ada agreed to meet him at a small cafe nearby. The girls stayed with Mrs. Onom. Over steaming cups of zobo, Obinna spoke, genuinely. He confessed everything, the shame he felt, the pressure from his mother, the years he spent believing he had been betrayed. But he also admitted something else. 2 years ago, I began to wonder. I got married again, but we couldn't have kids. I went for tests. The doctor told me I have a rare gene. One that could cause mixed pigmentation in children. A throwback gene. Ada's eyes widened. Meaning? It's possible, even as black as I am, that I could father children like our daughters. Ada gasped. For 10 years, this information had been missing. She had suffered, struggled, and been labeled unfaithful because no one knew about a throwback gene. Obinna leaned in. "Ada, I'm not here to force anything. I want to be part of their lives. I want to make things right." Ada looked at him, long and hard. "You may be their father by blood. But I raised them. I suffered. I fought. Don't come here thinking you can just walk in and be daddy." He nodded slowly. Then let me earn it. Please. Even if you never forgive me, let them know who I am. Ada sat back. The storm in her heart still raged, but she was no longer the broken woman of the past. She was stronger now. Wiser. Protective. I'll think about it, she said finally. As she walked away that night, stars shimmered above. Her daughters were her pride, her strength. And now, the past had returned, not to haunt, but to answer for its sins.